This girl called me jaded because she said that children can be accidents and marriages can't be, and I said that children shouldn't be accidents.
What is your take on women that say they have this child as a mistake or this child came in as a mistake? What is your take? Because some of them, when you can see, maybe you see someone that has like already two children, a boy and a girl, and she's done. Then later on you see her pregnant again, and you be like, mommy, somebody like, why are you pregnant again, or what happened? And she be like, it's mistake, oh, it was mistake, oh. What is your take on women that or mothers that women or mothers that always blame their children for their mistake or blame an unborn child for their doings because they always put the child as a mistake. Well, this child came in as a mistake. Some might even say, okay, they were on birth control and the birth control failed. So the child came in as a mistake. What is your take? Because I saw this video where this lady was talking about women should stop blaming children. If you know that you don't want to have kids, why are you doing things to get you to have children? Even though, because we know that this birth control, I don't think there's any birth control that is 100%. Maybe unless you just remove the womb itself. Most of the time, the oral ones, the one you insert, the one you take on your hand, and all of that, they won't tell you it's 100%. What happens to the other percentage, right? So there's possibility that you might eventually get pregnant, even if you use the condom and everything. There's possibility it might fail you, even if you're trying to do self calculation. Oh, I'm not ovulating today. There's possibility it might fail you. So if you know that you don't want to have children, you don't want to bring children to this world, why are you doing things to get you pregnant and later you blame the children for what you did? Let me go ahead and roll this video for you all to watch to the end, and I'm back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
This girl called me jaded because she said that children can be accidents and marriages can't be, and I said that children shouldn't be accidents. It's really sad to me how people try and jump through hoops to validate their selfishness and carelessness when it comes to creating children. There are a few ways that children come into this world. Either you intentionally are trying to conceive a child, you are not being intentional about not conceiving a child, or assault. So let's take assault out of the equation because we're not talking about that. We're talking about the other two. If you choose that you want to try for a baby, then you should be in a situation or in a stable place to know what you're bringing that child into. That's not to say that things last forever and things are always going to be perfect or ideal, but you need to have really thought about that before you bring this child into the world. Otherwise, it is selfish. The other side of things are people not being intentional about not getting pregnant, and this is the side that this lady was defending. Accidents happen, people are born and, accidents happen. It's not an accident if you know that laying down with somebody, come on, we all know this. If you decide to have sexual intercourse with someone, the chance of you getting pregnant, even if you're on birth control, even if you use protection, is possible. So you need to know what you're doing when you're choosing to lay down with someone, and choose wisely who you're choosing to lay down with. Society has normalized us being careless and being selfish in, I just want to get this, this good feeling for this moment of time. I just want to be with this person for this moment of time. That it doesn't really matter if we create a child, because a child is just a child. It's not that big of a commitment, but marriage is a bigger commitment. No, a child is the biggest commitment that you choose to make with somebody else. People love to say that once a child is 18, you don't have to see the other parent anymore. You do not stop being a parent when a child turns 18, and the fact that we still, in 2024, people are saying that is so damaging. You are a parent for as long as you and your child are on this earth, and there are other things that happen after 18. You may become grandparents. You are still family with that person. You may not like them. You may really despise them. They may be an awful, horrible person, but they are going to continue to be attached to you in some way because you have a child together. You created a life together. This same lady told me that kids suck and that kids ruin marriages, and then went on to say that she would rather have a child and not be in a marriage or a stable relationship than be in a marriage or a stable relationship just because you may get a divorce. This is what is wrong with this world, that the focus is so much on, well, we know we may get a divorce and it may not work out for me, so I'm going to do what I want, even if the child may suffer as a result of my actions. There's no thought and consideration for the children, and this is my problem, and this will continue to be my problem. And I will continue to speak about this and stand on what I'm saying, because I deal with clients every day who, as a result of their parents not being intentional, are suffering as adults today. And this is not to say that every child that has been born go back and reverse it, or parents need to go and get married because they've had a child together. That's not the solution. But moving forward, for those of us who have not had children yet, or have had children yet and are planning to have children in the future and you're not in a relationship right now, we can do better. We can slow down. We can be intentional about the people that we choose to procreate with. People keep confusing not planning something as something happened in an accident. Just because you didn't plan to get pregnant at that time doesn't mean that you accidentally took off your underwear and had sexual intercourse with somebody. It's not an accident. You knew what you were doing, and when we're having sex, that means that we can get pregnant, right? So even if you take contraception and you use any of those protective measures, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are not going to get pregnant. We all know none of them are 100% effective. So again, we can see from that you are proactive in trying to lower your chances of falling pregnant or getting somebody pregnant. But by you engaging in sexual intercourse with someone, I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news for the people who don't want to hear this, but you are basically saying that you are open to possibly getting pregnant for, or getting that person pregnant. We have to be more intentional about who we are procreating with. We have to be more intentional about who we are laying down with. Children should not be accidents or oopsies. Children are human beings. They deserve to be brought into this world with intention, not just dragged into this world because I wanted to have fun. That is selfish. And again, I'm not saying any of this to say that somebody who has done this in the past needs to go back and reverse it, because you can't. That's illogical. That wouldn't make any sense. But those of us here right now who are moving forward and know that we want to bring more children into the world in the future, we can be intentional. And if you're choosing not to be, remember that it is a choice. It is not an accident. Life did not make this happen to you by accident. You knew what you were doing. We know what we are doing. And I know somebody's going to turn around and say, well, if protection is not 100% effective, then what are we supposed to do? Because people have said this to me so many times. Stop having sex with the people that you don't want to get pregnant for. Even if it is somebody that you really like, you're in a situationship, you're in a relationship, but maybe you're in a relationship with them, but you want to be married before you have a child. Stop sleeping with them until you're married then, because you could possibly get pregnant before you have a child. And if that's not what you want, stop it. If you're in a situationship with someone and you think, oh well, maybe if we have a baby we'll get into a relationship. No, stop having sex with them. See if they actually get into a relationship with you for you first, not as a result of a child. When this lady said to me that kids ruin marriages, kids don't ruin marriages. People who don't want to be married to each other and have a child and then get married as a result of having a child, thinking that that's going to fix everything, those people ruin their own marriages, because they shouldn't have been married to that person in the first place and really shouldn't have had a child together. But children are a blessing, so once they're here, once they're conceived, let that blessing come through. But beforehand, before bringing the child into this world and giving that blessing your burdens, be intentional.
I totally agree with her. In fact, I feel like if you're not ready to have children, be careful of who you sleep with. Be careful of who you hang out with that can drug you and grape you. And because there's sometimes even though you have plans to get an abortion, right? Sometimes children don't show. In fact, I've seen most people come out to say they have it's a cryptic pregnancy, the ones that will not show until your tummy is just paining you and you go to the hospital and tell you you're having a baby. What if it's you like that? Like, what if it was you? What will you do? Right? So far you're engaging in these things that will make you get pregnant. There's possibility you can get pregnant. So far you are engaging in it. If you're not engaging in it, yes, it's because you are not Mary, the mother of Jesus. So how are you like? there's always like that possibility, that tiny little possibility, even though you're preventing it. And you see some people say, oh, I want to have children so that me and this person can be in a very committed relationship. Some use children as a base for the beginning of their marriage or their relationship, which is wrong. I feel like, me personally, I feel like children do not bind or make your bond very stronger. Yes, you guys will continue talking to each other forever, because especially if the guy is interested in the child. If the guy is not interested in the child, there's nothing you can do, right? If it's someone that is interested in the child, you will continue talking to each other forever, because you both of you have something to share, right? Till probably whenever age the child decide to, you know, choose or whatever lifestyle they want to live. Anyway, but then if you think that getting pregnant will secure your relationship with someone, or it will not make the man very serious with you, I just feel like that is the most stupid decision ever, because they know. And the thing is, I'm not even pitying you, I'm pitying the children that are in the situation. I'm pitying the child that you brought into this world as a collateral for your, like, you see some people saying, oh, your marriage is not going well, try having child brings blessing and joy in the home. Marriage is not going well, what does an unborn child has to do with bringing blessing and joy into the home? Why can't the husband and wife work things out to make things work, or they just go their separate ways? Why are you bringing, and what's the possibility that, okay, when the child comes everything scatters, then what happens? People always try to make these children, in fact, children that are just coming to this world, you already give them tax. You already give making the child to have tax to make you happy for the rest of your life. Most of the time they don't. They stress you for the very beginning, in fact, even to the very end. And what would you do? And that's why you see most people coming out that they are regretful for having children, because they didn't think all this through. They were thinking, oh, when I have this child, everything will be perfect. My partner will love me more. Or it's- and another annoying thing is some women that always say these children came as a mistake. Most of them don't even try so hard to use birth control, but then they are having, smacks every time. Probably they're in a relationship or they're married, I don't know. But they are having smacks every time, and they do not protect themselves. Do you know what they do? They probably, some say they calculate their circle. Some say the partner does, like, when he wants to, get to the point, he has to release, he brings it out. They call it withdrawal, something like that. Then the next, or some say because they are breastfeeding. Some mothers say because they are breastfeeding, automatically they can't get pregnant. And you see someone that just put to bed 3 months ago is already carrying another pregnancy, and now they come and tell you it's a mistake. It's a mistake. Is it really a mistake? To be honest, what's your take on today's conversation? Let me know your thought down comment section respectfully. What's your take on women that always blame their children for the things that they did with their clear eye? Because you're not raped. So far, you're not raped, or you were not drugged. Because some people might get drugged and they don't even know what happened eventually, and it comes, right? Which you can find yourself in any situation like that. You cannot plan it, right? Okay. But then, if you know that you're doing this, and you know that the partner that you're doing it, you can never have child, like, you don't want that partner to be your father of your children, why are you doing it, knowing that it might eventually get you pregnant? What is your take on women that eventually, when they do these things, they will not blame, like, oh, it was a mistake, it was not planned, da 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 da? What is your take on today's conversation? Let me know your thought down in the comment section respectfully. It's your favorite girl again, Maria David. And thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And please turn on the post notification bell to get notified once I upload another interesting video. And I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.